thanks for having me here. It's an honor to chat with you. I'm Brazilian. I live in a city called Belo Horizonte, and I've been to crypto since 2017, more or less. So Ethereum was my first contact with the Web3 community, and since then I've been following the entire Ethereum ecosystem. And of course, now the Ethereum ecosystem is too large to be followed. But then I was hanging out with some guys from Bankless Brazil. So Bankless, I don't know if everybody knows about Bankless, but it's this media dedicated to crypto, and it had some groups for each one of the countries. So we have a group that uses the brand of Bankless and is in touch with the native Bankless community. So we have a Bankless Brazil. And one of the guys was talking about Lens. And I've heard it before on Twitter about the launch of Lens, but I didn't had the willing to test myself in the beginning. But then this guy, and it was Pedro. Pedro is well known in the Lens ecosystem right now, but Pedro was talking about Lens, and then I was like, okay, I need to check it out. And that's when I joined Lens, and I remember like the first profiles that I explored, like in my feed, was your profile, like Jessyfries, Pedro, and Punkes, and Chris Corney. Yeah, like many interesting people. So yeah, that's how
All
I
the
got into
OGs.
Lens.
Having a Lens event or something, that would be so much fun.
We can meet in person. I've been seeing the posts about DevCon recently, and some of the people met there. I was like, oh, I wanted so much to be there and meet some of the Lens folks. But
Yeah.
someday we'll meet.
But let's see, maybe next year for sure. But like when you joined, did you have an idea of building something or you just joined for the experience?
At first, I joined to experience that, to try that product, and it's like being in crypto for so long, and since the beginning, Ethereum is pitched as this decentralized computer. So it's different than Bitcoin because Bitcoin was built by being a decentralized currency, and Ethereum was always pitched as being a decentralized computer. So as a developer, since I first heard about this term, decentralized computer, we start to think, okay, what can we build in this computer? Like, what are the advantages of building a decentralized computer? And the first products were like ICOs, and then we had DeFi. DeFi was the first product that kind of made sense, but it still was all about finance. Like, it was all about just investing and just dealing with finance. It was like, if it's a decentralized computer, there must be something out of finance to do. I can't believe it. And when I heard about this and studied it better, I was like, okay, this might be it. This might be the product running on decentralized computers, that it's not directly related to finance. It's not a finance product. It's a social product. That might make sense. So that was my first idea about why I was so hyped about this. So I just wanted to test it to see if that made sense. And since at that time, I think 2 or 3 years before that, I was working with SEO. So SEO stands for Search Engineering Optimization. So it's the kind of work that you do to rank pages well in Google. So I was studying a lot of human behavior and also with a lot of data of how people interact with each other and with content. And when I started using Lens, I saw that Lens was a sea of data. So it has all this data that you usually pay a lot to have from traditional social media like Twitter. So if you want to access Twitter API, it's not only expensive, but it's super hard. Same thing for Instagram, same thing for Facebook. So if you want to get what kind of data? data on kind of users that use the social media, how many posts are published there. So this kind of data, it's super hard to access this data. And on Lens, it's free. It's basically free because everything is on blockchain and everything is immutable. So it just clicked me and I got in love. I really got in love about Lens, about the idea. And since 2017, it was the first time that I saw something running and making sense of this on this decentralized computer that is Ethereum.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that on Lens, for example, as a developer, you can come and you can build anything you want because you have access to all the data, right?
Yes,
That's
the
what
Lens team makes it easier. Sorry to interrupt you. The Lens team makes it easier creating tools for us to access this data. But if they don't do any tools, if they do nothing, you can
yeah,
still access this data because it is on blockchain. So if you
okay.
can explore the blockchain, if you know how to read data on the blockchain, you have access to all the data that transactions on Lens. So that's after I saw all these tools available, then I started to think more with a builder mindset, saying, okay, instead of just complaining of what it's missing on Lens, I can just build it. And it's way easier than on other platforms. So
But
that's,
for example, let's say that someone would like to build something, I don't know, on X or Instagram. Can they do it? Because I don't think I have seen anyone build anything on these Web2 platforms.
yeah, you can do it. An example. Have you ever used those softwares that aggregate information from more than one social media? Let's say you want to cross post. You want to post on Instagram and Twitter. There are some
Yeah.
softwares that you can do that. So these
Yeah.
softwares, they do exactly that. So they are software you publish there and they will cross post on Twitter. They will cross post on Instagram. But those softwares, they're expensive. Why they are expensive? Because they have to pay high API rates to Twitter, to Instagram, and to other social media. So all
Oh,
this
yeah.
software, another kind of software, you have software for analytics. So I was talking about SEO before. You have SEMrush, that is one analytics platform, and others that I have forgot the names, but you have many analytics platforms to understand the conversion of your Instagram posts or
Yeah.
how many clicks you had on Twitter. All those platforms, they are built on top of the social media and they are paying high API rates to get this data. And this is why these softwares are so expensive.
Like, yeah, it makes sense now. For example, if an application, someone's building an application and they're using like Google API, they will have to pay, right? The more they use it, the more they have to pay. It's the same.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Is there like any tool on Lens that you have been using or a tool that you really liked that was built by someone?
I use many Lens apps because I love to be an early adopter. So I love to try like many apps. Recently, like I was with problem accessing Butterfly for a long time. My login wasn't working, and recently Mo published a fix that finally I was able to log in and was super excited to use like Butterfly again. And when I want to do cross posting, I use Kyra. When I want to boost some content, I use Favor because it has that boost functionality using points that I find really interesting. You remember what was the name? I think it was Lens Post. That it was like a Canva but for Lens.
Yes, the one
You haven't been
that is built by
using
Cybertruck.
yes, yes. Ah, that girl is amazing. I loved that tool. But I think now she's focusing more on Farcaster, if I'm not sure. But that
Yeah.
is a super interesting tool and a really good use case for sharing revenue with creators because when you were using an asset from a creator, you would automatically add the revenue split to the
Yeah.
creator. And I found that like amazing. So yeah, I'm used using that Lens post more.
But yeah, and speaking
And
of data, I mean, her app was super cool because I think that there was some NFTs or collectibles that were created by some other creators, and you could mix them in your memes or whatever you created on Lens Post and then like publish them. And yeah, unfortunately, she moved to Forecaster, but I think her app is still like growing. And yeah.
It's a really good use case because you use an asset that is already there and it can track automatically the source of that meme. This is, let's take for example YouTube. So if you publish a YouTube video using some licensed music, usually when you're going to publish, YouTube says to you, we are going to analyze your video and we will come back with the feedback in a moment. Sometimes the feedback comes in 10 minutes. Sometimes this feedback is going to come in 10 days and your video is already with a lot of with a lot of viewers. And suddenly you receive an email saying that your video infringed some copyright rules. And the way that Shetty built Lens Post was genius because it already took the original source of the meme or of the video and it's registered there who was the creator. So it already shares the revenue automatically. So yeah, it's one of my favorite tools that was built on Lens for sure.
It was really cool. And I think it was kind of revolutionary, but I think that her tool is going to evolve like so much because it's just the beginning. What she did is something that we never saw before. And I'm sure that like if she gets more of investment and people using it, she's going to grow it super much. And I think it's going pretty well for her. Like I saw her touring the world and speaking at conferences and everything. I definitely have to get her on the podcast for sure.
Yeah, yeah. She probably has a cool story to share. But I also use a lot like Hey and Orb and
Yeah.
yeah,
What
pretty
about
much any app
stickers?
that crosses my feed, I will try it.
What about the stickers on Orb? Have you bought some? Do you like it? I've seen like a lot of people complained because there's not the like button anymore. And I don't know, like personally, I love the stickers because I'm like, they're all so cute. I think I bought most of them, but obviously I noticed that there's a lack of engagement after they drop these stickers. It feels like I think as human beings, we still need to see that other people liked what we do. I don't know, because like no one is commenting anymore.
Yeah, I have some spicy takes regarding stickers. So first thing, I don't think stickers should have replaced the like button. I think it should be an extra thing. And why do I think that? Likes are the most simple form of engagement. And you can, you can argue that we should teach our children to be less into social media, to don't rely on likes to define your character and your life. And I totally agree on that. If I have a child someday, I'm going to teach like empowerment and all this stuff. But to think in a realistic way, likes, it's an important input for the algorithm to understand what to recommend to you. And this is what I've been arguing about on my last posts online. So when we say algorithm, what is this magic stuff called algorithm? Algorithm is the calculation that the social media does to recommend you posts. So when you log into Hey or to Orb, you don't receive a list of posts ordered by published timestamp from people you follow. No, no, no. You're going to receive posts probably not in a perfect timestamp order. You're going to receive posts from people you follow, from people you don't follow, and sometimes you're going to not receive posts from people you follow. So all of these are decisions from this calculation called algorithm. And how does it decide what to show to you? it tries to show you what you are more keen to engage with. So any social media wants you to engage, wants you to like, wants you to comment, wants you to mirror, wants you to keep on that social media, and wants you to make other people stay on that social media. So it's going to try to show you the perfect post for you to reply or for you to like. In order to know, how does the algorithm know what you like? How does this calculation knows what Jessie likes? It's going to say, okay, what are the last posts that Jessie liked before? What are people that usually follow? They're usually women, they're usually men, they're usually developers or maybe painters. Okay, and what are usually the kind of posts that triggers Jessie to comment? And this is the usually the spicy take on Twitter, because Twitter takes that a lot in count, and we usually reply posts that give us a strong feeling, being happiness or anger. Usually
Okay.
anger is the biggest trigger for people to
Yeah.
comment. But anyway, so these are all of the inputs that social media needs to analyze to understand what to recommend you. And like is the simplest of those. And when you remove this engagement input, or when you make it harder to do, you're going to remove one of the inputs to make the algorithm recommend you what you want to see. So it's
Yeah.
harder to recommend you, and your feed is going to start to be a mess. You're going to start seeing things that maybe are not that interested. And as a creator, your post is not going to be delivered to people that are more keen to interact with it. So this is
Okay.
important of like, and also the second thing is about human behavior and human psychology. When you have a feature that is there for you. Okay, so and I went through this because, as you notice, I stayed out of social media for like 2 weeks, and when I got back, I logged into Orb and I saw all those nice posts about DefCon, and I couldn't like them. So
Mm.
something was taken from me because I haven't been around. I haven't bought stickers before. I had to learn what stickers for. I had to search for the news. Like, what's happening? Where's the like button? I got totally lost. And I've been on Lens for 2 years. So imagine someone that just got into Lens last week. So
Yeah.
this is a big churn event for many people. They just give up. Well, I don't know how to use this app anymore. So we just need to be in order to make a user stop certain behavior and acquire another behavior, these have to be really well built in tiny, tiny steps. And
Yeah.
replacing likes for stickers was a huge step. And after reading a lot of blog posts and search a lot of the feed, I realized that I have to buy a sticker package. I didn't know how to search for sticker packs. And then when
Mhm.
I found like the first sticker pack, there was like a $15, $12. I was like, I just like my friend's post.
It was a lot of changes at once for sure, because we were all like used to one app, and then it changed super fast. And one thing is like, if you were gone from the social media for some time and you weren't here when it happened, I understand that it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
Um,
and feedback's normal. Like it's not. I love Orb, and that's why I give feedback to Orb because I use Orb, and
yeah,
of course I use other apps as well. And but I want to see Orb thrive. And when the amazing thing about Lens is that we are helping building Lens. And this is
yeah,
something that you don't get to do it every day. You don't get to do it with Twitter. You don't get to do it with Instagram. We are
I totally agree.
actively helping building Lens. So this is a
Yeah,
time to give this kind of feedback. So when I say that, it's not just my personal experience. It's because I see that this is going to affect a huge amount of people, of users of Lens, and it's going to drive them away. Like, I'm not
I
going
agree.
to be driven away because of that, but many other people are. If you have a standard free sticker pack with heart, thumbs up, thumbs down, and
It's
anything
enough.
crying, like the emojis, it's already like amazing.
But yeah, I think that there still needs anyways a lot of improvements, but at least I think it's nice that we're testing new things and getting feedback, and I'm sure it's going to change. But also, like, now that we're talking about apps and like creators, because something we know is that on Lens there's a lot of creators, a lot of artists. Like, it's crazy the amount of talented people on this platform. And we have seen in the past that there was many different like uh, web apps that were built for creators to kind of sell their art. I think there was Lensport and like Orna. And then at one point you came up with an idea to create, can I call it an art gallery or NFT gallery for one-on-ones, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you could tell us, like, how did you get this idea, and what kind of like product or service, why, and why did you want to create this, and what solution were you trying to give to the creators?
Yeah, so after this time I spent on Lens and had this, I don't know how to say in English, but it's like epiphania. Like, it's epiphany,
Epiphany?
epiphany,
Yeah.
epiphany. Perfect. Thank you. And I had this epiphany of all this data available on Lens. And we were having the. Remember when Shadkey did a thing on Lens for us to post limited editions, or was open? No, open Lens. You remember the
Open
open Lens
Yeah.
action that she led? It was amazing because it was really focused on art. So all the time that I logged into Lens, I was seeing art, 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 and then this vanished. This vanished. So open Lens like finished, and the feed was much about DeFi and token prices. It was like, but I know that the artists are just making good art. You mentioned it, Orna, you mentioned it, and I remembered also Chromadine. Chromadine was an app
Yes.
that I also loved. And I think they didn't migrate it to V2. I'm not sure. But it was really good app. But to sell a high quality NFT, a high quality art, a social media feed is not the best way, because the social media feed is ephemeral. So you post your NFT, it's expensive, and people are just scrolling. Are just scrolling. But that data on Lens is available for you to build another kind of feed. You don't need to build a social media feed. So it's like, okay, it's easy. I just need to filter all the collectibles that have a single edition. It's just a filter. And I'm going to try to do that. It's been a while since I last developed a full stack application. So in the beginning, it was just I just wanted to do experimentations. Is that
Yeah.
how you say experimentations?
Yeah.
Sorry for I have English hiccups sometimes.
No, it's okay.
But I just wanted to do some experimentations, and I was really like slowly building, but building in public, asking feedback from the community. And I was like, okay, there is something here. I can make this well structured app or website or gallery. I also don't know the name of those things. Software as a service, there are many names. And since we are talking about a high end NFT gallery or marketplace, you need the brand to fit the product. So you need a more exclusive experience. You need a more exclusive feeling for that. So that's the difference for marketing for expensive products or more cheap products for the masses. So you have a different of marketing, you have a different of brand. And since before that, I was launching that Lens Forest Diaries, that were studies about lens data. I had this forest and mystic in my mind. And then after some conversation with ChatGPT, we came up with Mystic Garden. And it was uh, an how do I say when two things like put together, conjunction, uh, a sum? It was a sum
Okay.
of a product that I wanted to filter out this specific kind of collectible from the lens feed to an experience that felt exclusive and felt fancy. And that's it. That's how Mystic Garden started to evolve. And then I got in love with it as well. I usually get in love with stuff, like with projects. And when I get in love with a project, I just go full hyper focus on it. And
Yeah,
that's it. Like, and when we think about lens, the lens, not the apps, not Orb, not Hey, but lens. Lens is basically a database. It's a database. You have different kind of data there. You have text, you have videos, you have images, you have data. And you can filter out this data the way that you want. You can pull just videos and make lens tube that is not tape. You can take only streams and make Bloomers TV. That is another app that I love for streaming. So you can just filter the type of content. And I decided to filter, okay, only one-on-one collectibles. This is Mystic Card, and I'm going to build this experience around it. And also, now on top of it, thinking about the experience, the exclusive experience, I'm building a curation algorithm. So instead of myself saying what is a verified artist, what it's not, I want the community to vote on what are verified artists, because I don't want to be centralized with this responsibility. I want the community
yeah.
to do that. But this is not really easy to do. I've been working on this algorithm for a while, but that's the next big step for Missy Garden.
How would the curation work? Is it like an artist puts an artwork via Mystic Garden and then people can go and vote?
I don't have this 100% defined yet, but as I explained before, how algorithms work, a curation works like the same way. I need to think about the inputs and how important they are. So a like is an input. So if you like a collectible, this is an input that you appreciate that art.
Yeah.
Or if you build a gallery, let's say you build a gallery with the one-on-ones that you find like more interesting. They can be sold or not already. So you build a gallery, and if someone buys that NFT from your gallery, you receive a revenue from it. And
Okay.
we have this functionality already native on Lens because we have the referral split and all those kind of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out how to use all these inputs that user does on a collectible to see how important each one of these inputs are, and build like this recommendation algorithm. So creating your own galleries, engaging with the collectible, and I'm thinking about others, as analyzing the kind of art that you have collected in the past. This is something as well to give a rank to each of the artists based on, I don't know, art they sold, or based on if we have already many ranking algorithms on Web3 in general to rank if a wallet is more likely to be a human being or not. So this is an example of the kind of rank that you can attach to a wallet, and we can attach to a lens profile as well. So I'm still figuring out all these calculations, but that's more like it.
I started on Tezos before I came on Lens, and there was so many platforms. And at one point they started adding the curation tool. So on some platform you could have a fee as a creator, like if an artwork was sold. I just can't remember the name of the other platform, but I think that as a creator, you could, for example, buy some artworks and then you could create your own gallery. So you could have some themes. For example, I can have Fries artworks and I can have pink artworks. And if someone buys it on secondary, I would get a fee from the sales, which I thought was really cool because then it's not just the artists that are promoting, but it's also the creators, because then you kind of, okay, you don't do it only for the money, but you want to show what you bought and what you like. And I think that's also super important. to involve like other people inside of the creation process for sure.
Yeah,
And
and also it's also important to people feel empowered to support an artist even if they don't have money to buy the art. Because sometimes the art is too expensive for us to buy, but you can support the artist in other ways. So you can recommend it to others. You can like create. I love this thematic curation, like you say, like a fries curation, like we did with the curated drop on Mystic Garden. I was like, okay, there is this theme and I want you to follow this theme. I love theme curation drops. Yeah, there's a kind of experience I want to build.
mm, but actually, speaking about the first job, it was really cool. Like, I think that it was like the first time on Lens that we had this kind of super nice experience around the same team, and like all of the artists put so much effort in creating their art. And something that I love, again, you were speaking about feed. So until now, let's say most of the art was seen on the feed, but now we could see like all the artwork since like on the same page. And I think it's different, when it's like artworks on a feed, it looks nice, but it doesn't look as nice as when it's like presented on a website that is only for art. I think it changes everything. And also like, as an artist, sometimes I would like to see like the artworks that I created all this time for 2 years on Lens. It's super hard to find them. Now I know that I can find, I think like most of the one-on-ones, they are featured on Mystic Garden, right? On my profile.
Yeah,
But otherwise, like everything, I feel like all the content sometimes is a bit lost, unfortunately.
definitely. The way the apps dedicated to social media are built, like I said, is ephemeral. Is for what's happening right now. So if you were building evergreen content. So this is what Google is good at because Google has the best search engineering that we know. And this is something that we still don't have good on Lens. You can't
Mhm.
search for things on Lens apps because this is something really hard to do. That's why Google is one of the biggest companies in the world because a good search engine is really hard. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, I can't build a good search engine, but I can build this not gallery, this showcase, this I don't know the perfect term for it, but
Yeah, like,
this how do you
but
say when you have stores and
mhm.
you see the clothes that are on the front of the store? What's the name for that? You're walking in a mall and you see the stores, and there are the clothes. There are a
Yeah,
name for
the
that
showroom.
transparent. No, it's not show. Anyway, that's
I don't
transparent wall that you're showing the clothes that the shop
know.
owner they built like those clothes for you to see and want to go into that shop. So
Yeah.
this is the same trigger. Like I want to make a place beautiful for. I have a lot of inspiration, of course, on super rare and foundation. So when I was building
Mhm.
the design of the website, I was all the time like super rare foundation and Sotheby's, super rare foundation and Sotheby's to
Yeah.
have this feeling of fancy. Because if
Yeah.
you're going to invest your money in something that is expensive, everybody waits for something in return. And this return, of course, sometimes it's financial, like I'm going to sell this later, but sometimes it's status. So if and these are I've been discussing this with other developers on Lens, like we need to show more status on some Lens profiles, and that's why on homepage of Mystic Garden, I have the biggest collectors there. So this is one kind of status, like I am the biggest one-on-one collector. I have this special art in my collection. But in order for you to brag about your art collection, you need a way to show it. And like
Yeah.
you said, if you bought an expensive art 2 years ago, it's gone unless you're never
Yeah.
going to find it again. But on Mystic Garden, you're going to find like all the one-on-ones that have existed in Lens like ever. Even for migrating to V3, it's going to be a huge workload for me because I'll have to mix like both Polygon and ZK Sync because I don't
Yeah.
want to lose all the work that was done on V2. So I'll have to mix them on Bicigari.
Yeah.
I'll make it work.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like if it's gonna be a problem for you. But yeah, this is gonna be a really annoying for like all the apps have to change, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we had that kind of thing. Was it like a year ago when there was
I think it
V2?
was, yeah, I think it was. I call it the lens big filters. So
That's
the
big
big
deal.
filter, yeah. So big filter was V1 for V2. Many apps didn't migrate, and now we are
Yeah.
going to have the second big filter that I think is
Okay.
going to be the biggest filter than the last one. But I'm going to migrate. I'm already with the documentation and studying documentation.
Okay.
And like I said, like even that for join V2 with V3, I won't have all the tools available from the Lens team. I'm going to have a lot of tools, but not all the tools, but it's everything on blockchain. So it's
Yeah.
doable. It's
It's
doable. They're all NFTs. It's trackable. I can make it work.
okay. Yeah. That's awesome. And I think that anyways, the work that you started doing, the thing that you built is gonna be really important for this third phase of Lens, because I think that this is when they're gonna onboard the most people on the platform. And we need to have an NFT gallery. I mean, you cannot onboard artists and collectors if you don't have that, that is almost ready. So I think that all the work that you have put in will soon be like rewarded. And also I wanted to ask you like what are the challenges that you have faced or that you're facing? Because if I understood correctly, you're building this platform all by yourself, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So did you face many challenges, and what are the tools or support that you would need today to kind of like achieve your goal as fast as you want to?
Okay. So yeah, many challenges. Um, I think one of the biggest challenges I have right now that I even described in my GitCon grants application. The first one is marketing because I don't have time to publish all the good art that is on Missy Garden because I'm busy in developing. And I really needed someone to at least take care of showcasing all the art that is there. And I don't know if you remember, but on the curated drop, I
Mhm.
had a partnership with Edward, and he was writing all those profiles on the artists. And I asked him to do that because I really want to tell like each artist's story, but I didn't have time to do it. And
Wow.
Edward, it's amazing with words. So having him in a partnership with me, taking care of the content
Yeah.
and doing those amazing texts that he did was amazing. Was amazing.
Mhm.
But working by myself, this is something that I really miss. And without marketing, it's really hard to get somewhere. And another challenge that I have right now is to develop smart contracts because this curation algorithm that I'm working on, it's centralized right now because
Okay.
I know how to code using databases. I know how
Yeah.
to use blockchain data, but I have never did smart contracts on my own. I know a little bit of Solidity because I study a lot of it and I know how to read contracts, but to make them, it's, it's a bit harder. And I don't
Mhm.
want to make a centralized platform. I want it
Mhm.
to keep being open source, and I want to keep having all this data in a decentralized way. So this is another challenge. But another thing that is important to mention, I think every business space, and especially crypto, you need to be really good at PR, public
Mhm.
relations. So to talk with the right people, to be in the right events. So being an introvert girl in Brazil puts a lot of blocks in my growth in this matter. So I can't be on events because most of events they are across the world, and it's
Yeah.
expensive for me to travel to US or to travel to Europe or to travel to Thailand. So I can't be personally near the key
Mhm.
people that are powerful in this space, maybe to get some funding or to get some help on building something. So this is a huge, huge challenge. So the language barrier, sometimes I have an imposter syndrome on my accent. I don't know if people are understanding me. I don't know if they're going to make fun of my accent. And I don't know if they're going to believe that a girl is building this all by herself. So yeah, there's also a lot of imposter syndrome.
Yeah,
But
but well, I think that first of all, I think your English is like really good. I think
thank
everyone
you.
understands you like really well. No, I'm not saying this because like I know you. It's true. But I think that maybe, of course, I think like when Mystic Garden will start like really evolving, like when you have kind of like reached a bit more the final product, even though it's like working already really well, I think it would be really great if you could go to events to promote it. But I mean, I understand the struggle of being shy and reserved because I'm exactly the same. Even though online I look so like sassy and everything, I am the worst. I go to events, I cannot speak to anyone. I'm so shy. Of course, I will speak if I have to, but I'm the worst for selling myself or saying that, oh, I'm working on this or that. I will always ask some, like the other person, what they're doing, and I will avoid the topic about me at any cost because I'm like, it's too much. But I think for you, it would be amazing if you could travel and maybe get like your travels like sponsored. I know that there's many, there's many events. I should send them to you sometimes if I see them. Okay, they have these like scholarships, for example, for devs and especially women who want to attend these events but don't necessarily have the funds. They always have some scholarships. If you just check, you can find them because I think it would be great for you. Like the events that I did, I met so many people, even though I didn't maybe share so many things, but they knew who I was and then they follow me. Then you get new opportunities and these kind of things, or then have someone that works for you and does all these things. Another thing is like for Mystic Garden, like these past months, I think many creators, but at least me, have started to feel tired because of posting every day. There's too many apps, too many things going on in the space. So I have kind of like, even I haven't minted any works on Lens or anything. But I think something that we could do is maybe have like, we used to have a Telegram. Maybe we can like share like all the new things together and we can help you because the best marketing is like when your community does the marketing for you.
Perfect. Sorry, you mentioned scholarship, and this is something that I have problem understanding because of the English. I always think that those are for students. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I thought the same like at the beginning, but actually scholarships, they're like grants. That's what it means.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, it's like you can apply for some funding and like maybe they will ask you like, why do you want to attend this event? What are you building? And maybe there's a hackathon or whatever. And I think it's mostly for devs, so that's the good part. And then they will like pay your ticket and maybe also pay where you live and these kind of things. So you should
oh,
definitely
that's
check.
good to know. Because every time that I saw this word, I thought it was for students, like young
No,
students.
no, no, no. Yeah, you should really apply. We really need to get you at some events. Also, you mentioned that sometimes you're afraid, like if people know that you're a girl and you're building this, like, is it something like, are you afraid that you wouldn't get some support or that they won't be so interested or maybe they had another idea. Maybe they thought that the person building Mystic Garden is a guy and so they get disappointed. Like what are you scared of? Or I don't know if it's scared, but you know.
This is the same question that my therapist asks me. Because this is this kind of I think you're going to understand that, but this kind of fear that we feel is built throughout the years. And I was talking to my brother a couple of days ago, and my brother is he like similar to me in a way that we don't have a name for what we do. So okay, I'm a developer, but at the same time I was an SEO specialist, but I also worked understanding like the psychology on social media. So I have a lot of marketing with dev in my, and I can never give a name to what I am. I'm super generalist, and I was always ashamed of that, and especially when you're looking for jobs, because you see, we need a senior backend Rust developer with 15 years experience with crypto. And you just bypass all
Yeah.
these opportunities. And my brother is similar to that, but he's a generalist more in a sense of developer plus financial specialist. He always worked with banks, so he was like the gap between the financial experts and the developers. And when I was talking to him, asking how he was so fast of getting from one job to another, because there's never a description of what exactly what you do, he would say, "It's easy. I just go there and convince them that they need me." I was like, how do you do that? It's
Yeah.
like I know that that job description it's doesn't match, but they don't know what they need. I know what they need, so I just go there and tell them what they need. And I'm like, this is so manly. And as women, we are not taught to be like that. We are taught to talk slowly, to be nice, to always smile, to not interrupt people when they are talking. If we are mad, we are probably on our pre-periods, like it is TPS, I think in English, and this kind of stuff. So we are not taught to be tough people. And
Yeah.
when my brother told me that, it was like, I don't know how to do that. Usually, if they say, "Oh, but you don't have the right experience," like, I'm sorry if I apply for your job, I'm going to leave right now. Never look to your face again. So, this and all of these imposter syndromes, they just flow to my mind. And recently, I haven't had actually any bad experience to justify that. I've had bad experience in crypto before, when like my friends sold me screenshots of people like talking about me, talking about the way I look, talking about, I don't know, my face, my body, and it was traumatizing. So when I got back to crypto, I created Definn as a cartoon character without doxing my gender, you know? And a lot of people thought that I was a man. So I was working for Yearn Finance, and they didn't know I was a girl. So I saw a lot of nasty conversation about women. And it was at that time, I don't know if you've been there around that time when Yearn was using a lot of waifus on their marketing campaign. So this Japanese big boobs girl that looked too young to be drawn like that way, and it was so annoying, but they didn't know I was a woman. And I was trying to make them understand that that wasn't nice. But at the same time, my team, I was in the documentation team, my team was amazing, and I doxed myself to one or another at a time.
Yeah.
And then that was when I was starting to dox myself a little bit more, because I found this small group on Yearn of nice guys, actually the real nice guys, not the meme nice guys.
Mhm.
And it was a group that gave me strength to dox myself, but I had bad experience before. But all of this, they just build up on our self-esteem. They just build up. So recently I have reasons for being so afraid of I don't know, of approaching people. No, I don't have recent reasons for that, but these kind of things, they
Mhm.
just build up.
Yeah, it's built up. It's really true what you say. Like as women, we have been taught a certain way. Like Also, I think we have been taught to hesitate a lot about, our confidence. It's always like boys know everything, and you as a girl, you always have to think more and prove yourself more than a boy because you're not as smart. I don't know, like when we were younger, it was always like, I don't know, boys were always smarter at math or always smarter at something than girls. You couldn't be as smart as them. But like with my friends, we like to joke and we're like, if you go to an interview, there's something that you're scared of, just imagine that you're just like a typical white man who's like 30 years old and just go there and just crush it. Because like they don't care. And I think exactly that the example of your brother is really good. It shows like the difference between us that guys, they know their value. Even if they don't fit all the criterias of the interview and what people are asking for, they know that they have some value that they can offer, maybe something more. And I think that we should be the same. And you should not be afraid to show like what you're building, to show that you're good at it, because I'm sorry, but you're great at what you're doing. I'm not sorry, actually. Like Mystic Garden is awesome. And I mean, if I can support it in any way, like I would love to do it. And I think that your project needs like more like financial support and more like visibility for sure.
It makes a lot of sense. Like we have to build this shield against jerks. Like because even not all of them are jerks, but so when it happens, like what this happened to you, this like sticks with us and it piles up like in a nasty way. I had something similar happening to me when I was working on my first job. Like my first job experience was terrible.
Mhm.
My boss hit it up on me. Or he was drunk on WhatsApp. Like my boss being one of the owners of the company. It's not like a
Oh.
boss or manager. It was one of the owners of the company hitting on me on WhatsApp one day that he was drunk and I used to work. Have you heard about those rental car companies? There is a Brazilian one called Localiza. It's around all over the world, but it's a
I
rental
never.
car company. I used to, our company, the company that I worked with, uh, used to make their systems. So I was always inside like the client's office to work
Mhm.
for them, like in the name of my company. And one day, one of my friends told me that a lot of people from that company were sharing pics of me in bikini because I have been in the beach before. I don't know. So they
Oh.
screenshotted my image from Instagram and started to share using the company messenger, like the Microsoft Messenger of the company. They were sharing my image around, like, and I was 23 years old. Like things are different now that I'm 35, I'm 36, but I was 23 years old. I was so young and you don't know how to deal with that stuff. And I couldn't ask my boss to change project because my boss had hit on me before. So it was like a terrible. So we get over those stuff, but they stick with your personality for a while, and it's a lot of breaking up and rebuilding yourself kind of work to get rid of this stuff. And yeah, like I love that you said that sometimes imagine what a white male man would do in an interview because now I imagine my brother. I was like, okay, what my brother would say. It's like you
You
just
know,
go there and say, I know what you want. I'm the perfect for this job, and you're going to pay me twice this that you posted on the
yeah,
website.
but you know,
Like,
but you
okay,
know,
I'll
it's
do like my
true.
brother. I worked for 5 years without a raise. And I figured out that all my friends, they used to ask for the raises. And I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know you can ask for a raise.
Yeah.
So I worked like 5 years without a raise until another boss find out, was like, what? Are you here for 5 years and didn't get a raise? I was like, no. What a raise is to know this. So he gave me a 50% raise in one way because the company was owning me like raises because I was there for 5 years. I was like, no
Oh
one
my God.
taught me that I could ask for raises.
Yeah, you have to ask for them. But you know, these things they need to it has to teach you something that in life when you want something, you just have to ask for it. And if you don't get it, then you don't, but at least you have asked for it. And it's so rewarding when you, as a shy person, it's already hard, but you go and you ask, and then someone says yes, and you feel like you have accomplished something. And this actually gives more self confidence, I think, when you're able to ask for something and get it or not. But
That's why I think it's so cool that like you were writing this book and making these videos because this can be read and watched by young girls and they don't have to go through this again because for guys usually their fathers teach them that this is how they should behave, but no one teaches girls to behave like that. Usually we are taught to just obey. And having this kind of content of people that have been through this, and especially in such a male environment like a Web3, having some this kind of content like to read, to watch, it's like it can empower us like
yeah, I think
women
it's
to.
important to empower like other girlies. And it's something that me, I went through, you know, for many, many years in my life until one day I said, like, it's enough and I'm gonna start a revolution with Jessyfries. And so I think that for girls, if something happens, even if it's just some guys who says like dirty stuff, I think it's important to speak up because we need to show that these things they still happen. Otherwise, people will say that, oh, you're just overreacting. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you wanted attention. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. No, actually, we don't want anything. We're just here, like building our projects, trying to, you know, reach our dreams. And no, we don't want anyone to come and comment anything weird on what we do or tell us that we can't achieve it. So, of course, I have this very special question for you, Definn, which is, do you like fries? And what's your favorite sauce with fries?
I love fries. I had fries yesterday, and this is a really fun story because my boyfriend and I we ask a lot of delivery food, and there is this hamburger store that we love, but especially not because of the burger, but because of the fries. And the
Wow.
name of the fries, translated to English, is fries from grandma.
Really?
Here in Brazil, and especially in my state, when you want to pass that feeling that something is homemade and special, you say it was made for your grandma, made by your grandma.
By your
Uh,
grandma, yeah.
yeah, so this is called like the grandma fries. And
Mm,
yesterday it was a holiday here in Brazil, and we were like, this is a good day to have a grandma's fries. And they are
perfect.
like sliced. They are not uniform like McDonald's fries, so you can see that it's kind of homemade, and I love it. And but I'm not a big fan of sauce, so I love
Okay.
it just with salt, fries
Okay.
and salt.
Actually, I
But
think this is the best.
grandma's fries, the
Grandma's
best
fries.
fries.
But talking about grandma's fries, like my grandmother's fries, they were the best ones. She
Mm.
used to cook them in the oil, but not once, but twice. And then put the salt, and they were like so crunchy from outside and like so soft from inside. So grandma's fries are the best. I can agree
Grandma's
on that.
fries.
At first, when I was younger, I didn't like to put any sauce like ketchup or mayo on my fries. But then, I don't know, when I past 30 years old, something happened to me and I started loving all the sauces. I eat so much sauce, but like I love mayo and sometimes I like to mix like mayo and ketchup.
But the mayo, the plain like mayo, because here in Brazil it's really common to have what we call green mayo. That is actually mayo with I don't know the names in English, but with vegetables but the kind of vegetables they're for flavor, like not lettuce and this kind of stuff. So, but you
Some
put like
spicy.
this, yeah, some green spices, and the mayo turns like green, and it's really refreshing. So the green mayo would be my favorite for fries.
Okay.
I will check the recipe and send to you because I
Yeah,
don't know the names in English for those vegetables.
yeah, let me know. I mean, here too in Europe, like they do all sorts of mayo with paprika, with cucumber, many things. But still, my favorite is like the natural kind of mayo.
Natural mayo.
Is there like a girly in the whole social fi ecosystem that you really love her work or her personality or someone you really like admire?
Wow, a lot, a lot. Like I really admire you a lot. You know that I think like since I joined Lens, seeing like your posts gave me the comfort of being in a place that I can be myself. And I love a lot Tiny Rainbow. And I was joking with her because I saw her picture on DEFCON. She was like super tall. I was like, oh my god, you're not tiny. But I'm
No.
actually super tall too. I'm 175.
Yeah.
And Maze Mari, I love her work and personality as well. And all the
So
girls,
many.
Lisa, our girly group, you really all inspired me a lot. And having seeing girls being confident and being who they are and helping shaping this space to be comfort for always girls to join, it really amazes me.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a lot of
Greniana too, I love
yeah,
her.
it's so fun. Like I love her posts. Like she comes up with those funny posts every day, and I'm always laughing so hard. But I think like on Lens we have really found this like really nice girly club. And now that we also have the Lens girls on Lens, like I really love it. I think it's really nice to have this. And yeah, hopefully again, I hope that we can all meet and like do things together. Like I met
Yeah,
Tiny and many other girls, and they're all so kind and really nice. So
Chloe, love Chloe too.
Chloe, yes.
I don't want
Chloe
to
is
forget to mention any girl, but I'm probably going
no,
to
I'm
forget
sure
some
that
of it. Chloe
there's
also does a really amazing job in like in pushing the authentic kind of work that she wants to do and to open space for that. Actually, I really have the curiosity and the willing to try to make a Lens app for adult content. I'm really curious about
mhm,
how to do that because I think this
mhm,
is a really good market to make a
mhm,
safe space for people that want to make all that content. And since Lens is on a blockchain, what we have that it's the standard feature of a blockchain is being able to uh, cryptograph some media, and
mhm.
only the person that have paid for that is able to decrypt and see the content. And this
Okay.
is something that bugs my mind on okay how to do the OnlyFans for Lens.
But actually, that would be interesting. There's many people who have been thinking that is there gonna be some kind of app like that that will come. But when you say that, when it's like the only person who can see it is the person who pays for it, because it's on chain, the content does it like disappear
No, it's
or?
encrypted. So every image or video, it's for the computer. It's just a list of bytes of ones and zeros that it's organized to make a video or an image. When you
Okay.
encrypt it, you mess all these numbers. You change the order of them using a key, like we do with the private key and the public key for the wallet. That's
Mhm.
the same thing. You can do that for an image. You can do that for a video. So when you save that image on the blockchain, the numbers are out of order. So if
Okay.
someone goes there and try to see the image, they're not going to be able to see, but it's there. It's immutable, but it's encrypted. Only the
Okay.
person who has the key, similar to a
It's
private key, can see that content. And
okay.
it's not easy to do. I think Lens has some support for doing that, but I need to research that
Yeah.
later.
what can we expect for Mystic Garden in the next months? And what should we do like as users? Is the platform working? Should we go and check it out, buy some art, mint some art? What should we do?
Okay, so next steps for Mr. Garden is handling the migration to Lens V3. So as I said before, I need to crack on how am I going to keep the V2 art and aggregate the V3 functionalities. And for people to support that are there, the platform is working. I think that I recently added the possibility to engage with likes and mirrors directly on Missy Garden. So even if you don't have the funds to buy the art there, it's really important to engage. So as you said, there are art that were published, I don't know, 3 months ago that you're not going to see them again on Orb or on Hey. So it's important to go to Mr. Garden to see the art from people that you support, from people that you like. Give it a like, give it a mirror, help to bring back this art to the Lens feed again. And this is also going to help me to build the curation algorithm to understand what kind of arts people are liking more. Also for the artists that want to be verified. And I ask it to be like real artists, not, of course it's a gray area to define like what is an artist or not, but just to try to separate people that actually like art. So I just want to mint NFTs to get money from that. So if you are an artist and you want to get verified, there is a form on Mystic Garden. You just have to scroll to the bottom of the page. There is a form there to submit for verification. And I'm going to analyze. I want to have like more artists verified before I have this curation algorithm ready. And you can also check the art from people that are not verified and also like mirrors, so I can see other arts that people are supporting. So yeah, that's the most important. And if you want to mint your art on Mystic Garden, you don't need to be verified. Anyone can mint an art there. The advantage of choosing Mystic Garden to mint your art first is that you can run an auction, and you can't do that on Orb or Hey. You can do that on Orna. It's the same thing as Mystic Garden. But also another advantage is that the metadata is going to be ready for the NFT. What does that mean? When you mint an art on Orb or Hey, when someone buys that art, it becomes an NFT, right? If you check that NFT on OpenSea, the name is going to be a standard name like Lens Art by Jessy. And it's probably going to go to the hidden tab. And the owner of the NFT is going to be Lens Contract, not on Mystic Garden. If you mint your art on Mystic Garden, you can set the title of your art, and the owner of that NFT is going to be not the owner of the NFT, of course, is going to be the buyer, but the artist, the one that deployed the NFT, is going to be the artist itself. So and the fees are smaller on Mystic Garden. Orb takes 5% fee when you buy, and Hey takes 5% fee when you publish there. Mystic Garden only takes 2% fee when you, as a split fee. So it's like that regular split fee, 98% for the artist and only 2% for Mystic Garden.
Okay. Thank you so much. Really, that was really detailed. And that's actually a really small fee. Are you considering maybe at some point making it like a bit bigger, or
Yeah, I should make.
you get
But
more artists?
yeah, I decided to keep a low fee because since Garden is not a high flow marketplace, so it's not every
Yeah.
day that people are selling like one-on-one, it doesn't make a lot of difference for me because it's a
Yeah.
low volume. And I think it makes more different for the artists. But if I
Yeah.
can scale the volume and in the future, I want to maybe expand it to multi editions, but making it different, like as in Hey or Orb or Butterfly or Kyra. maybe expand to multi editions,
Yeah.
then maybe it makes sense for me to increase the fee a little bit.
Okay. So then you can change.
Yeah.
Okay. But thank you so much. I mean, it was so cool to talk to you and to learn more about you and what you're building. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going crazy, I don't know